card, please. So it being around 4 o'clock on January 18th, 2023, I'd like to call this Gardner Elementary School Building Committee meeting to order. Dr. Hemmond, would you mind please calling the roll?
Mark Hawk,
Present.
Mike Nicholson, Mark Pellegrino, Dr. Pellegrino,
Present.
Wayne Anderson, Earl Martin, Kathy Gogan,
Present.
Joyce West, Jennifer Plavin,
Present.
Bob Schwartz,
Present.
Ron Cormier,
Present.
Christina Thomas,
Present.
Ashley Chickwin,
Present.
Robert Hankinson, Heidi Genders, Josh Cormier.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Fabulous. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from December 7th and the building, from the finance subcommittee meeting on December 7th?
Mr. Chairman, I did not send out, and I'm sorry, I don't recall I sent out the December 7th subcommittee meeting minutes. I just double checked. I don't think they got out, but the December 21st ones, we'll have to do that at the next meeting. I put it on thinking we could approve it with the 5 members from the subcommittee at this meeting, not call a whole special meeting just to approve the minutes. But I mistake, I forgot to send them out. Sorry about that. So we're looking to have approval for the minutes of December 21st.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, let's put the matter to a roll call vote. Dr. Hemmond?
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes.
Kathy Gogan,
Yes.
Jennifer Plavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Ron Cormier,
Yes.
Christina Thomas,
Yes.
Ashley Chickwin,
Yes.
and Josh Cormier.
Yeah.
Did anybody come in that I did not call the first time? It's a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Motion passes. Approval of bills and orders.
I will give you those in 1 second. Let me just grab them. We have invoice from Bacon Construction, $962,254.75. Wagner for $5,623.21, and Renter Crate for $864.40. I've not received, Jones Winter told me they won't have an invoice, and I have not received one from Colliers. That to be at the next meeting.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve that bill?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion on the motion, let's put the matter to a roll call vote.
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes.
Kathy Gogan,
Yes.
Jennifer Plavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Ron Cormier,
Yes.
Christina Thomas,
Yes.
Ashley Chickwin.
Yes.
Robert Hankinson hasn't come, has he?
Nope.
Heidi Genders, she's not here. And then Josh Cormier, Earl Martin just came, I saw.
Yes,
I'm a yes.
yes, and yes.
Josh,
Who's the
what did
other
you say?
yes? Who's,
I'm a yes.
okay, it's a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Votes unanimous, motion carries. So are there any other bills or orders?
Nope, that's it.
Okay,
today.
great. That's a good thing. I like a short list of bills. That's a good thing. Report from the OPM.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is again, our budget that we've been tracking just to track overall cost for the project against the budget that was established way back when, and then compare that to what is we think the net effect to the city by by view of the MSBA reimbursement. So our overall budget is just under or about just over $89.5 million, of which so far we've approved invoices prior to this evening of just over 73 million. We have contracts that run up through 77 million. So we're nearing the end of the contractual obligations. Of the 73 million that's been approved, we're estimating that 51 million would be eligible for reimbursement. And then that, based on the city's rate of just about 80%, you'll see that we're expecting just under 41 million in reimbursement from the MSBA. So that reimbursement has been ongoing throughout the project. Each time we submit a reimbursement request to the MSBA, they do a cursory review, and then they'll reimburse the city up to 95% of the total grant. They'll continue to do that. At that time, they'll stop, and then we'll hold and only release any remaining grant money once they've done a final audit. And that process takes quite a while. But the final audit can't begin until all invoices have been paid, all the commissioning work has been signed off on, and a 10-month post-occupancy certificate signed off by the commissioning agent. So there's a lot of things that have to happen before we can go into the final audit process. But I don't think we're at that 95% mark as far as the value of the total grant, but we're inching up there. Any questions on the finances on the project? Matt, I don't know if you have an update that you could either share or just talk to recent activity and
Yeah.
what we're expecting for upcoming.
I don't have a written one, but excuse me. Basically, the Bacon has still been on site along with some of their subs, picking away at the punch list. They made some substantial gains in getting the punch list complete over the Christmas break, which was great. I think we're starting to see some systems that were kind of lagging behind or struggling, finally coming up to working properly. Little by little, they're getting much closer with the mechanical, more sort of controls. They should be in good shape. They said, I think sometime this week. So hopefully they're noticing in the building, they can notice some decent temperatures. One of the biggest ones probably lagging out there is the lighting control. But they've been picking away at that too. So it may be all getting closer. Mainly it's just, we're going to have some remainder site work to be done in the spring and in the summer with the playgrounds. That's probably the biggest thing, but it's no surprise. We've been talking about that previously. And I don't know, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the punch list, they've done a good job of picking away. But as Matt said, the controls, so it's one of those things that as we walk around, we can't see it, you can't touch it. It's computer programming, and really don't know until somebody digs into the program and checks to verify that it's operating, functioning the way it's supposed to. That the sequence of operations, this turns on before that turns on, and so forth and so on. So the commissioning agent is really doing a lot of that legwork, and they do it remotely. So we had to get up the remote access up and running, and but that is in process. So that's usually one of the last items on a project. With any new project, not until you live in it for a little bit do you understand how things kind of function, how things are working, and what needs to be tweaked. So there were a lot of items that as we kind of approached occupancy, it was kind of well, it was a mess in a lot of ways, but they've really done pretty well at catching up and resolving a lot of those items. And now we're coming down to a much shorter list, but sometimes it can be lengthy to try and resolve some of those issues. So we'll keep everybody posted on how that's coming. But we haven't heard a lot of issues about cold classrooms or cold rooms or just temperatures not really functioning. We have had some problems with suppliers not being able to get parts for the windows, so the crank handles and the hinges and some certain things. So it's frustrating on some parts, but it is reassuring that they've been able to kind of push through on other issues.
Great.
Any questions about any specifics within the building or how things are going, or? Sure, go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned temperatures in the classroom. Are any of the classrooms particularly cold? And then you also mentioned the lighting. Is this all like supposed to be, rooms is entered and the lights go on automatically, et cetera? Is that this part of the issue? And what about the pre-K with the heated floors, if you will? How is that working out?
Well, as far as room temperature controls, I haven't heard really, we usually when the temperature changes from that fall entry, you go in and it's 90 degrees in some days going into the classrooms. And then as you change into the heating season, usually you start to, things just come out of the woodwork that you didn't know weren't working. And we haven't really had that. Matt, unless, you're aware or hearing things and they get addressed quickly before they kind of reach me, I haven't really heard that at all.
Well, we've had plenty of heating issues along the way, but as of right now, I think it's pretty much under control. I'm not going to say 100%. Earl would know best because he's the one who hears the complaints first. But I think it is getting better from what I know of. They're tweaking the BMS system and adjusting controls and stuff now that they have the balancing too. And as far as the lights go, Ron, it's a combination of things, but that is getting better too. But some lights go on and off automatically. Some don't go on with the push of the button. We've had this button controls some other room, and a bunch of they had all kinds of combinations of issues. There was some bad, I'll call them widgets in the lighting control system that had to be replaced, and they had to figure out which ones, to replace. But I heard last week at our meeting, they had been in there that week doing work on the lighting controls. So it's all getting much closer. If you compare what it was and what it is now, I think, and Earl can speak to this, it's a whole, it's a whole lot better than what it used to be, and it's getting very close.
Yeah, I would echo that. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of problems with the heating at various points, a lot of problems with the lighting. Matt alluded to the one room turning on another. They are making progress. There's still some issues this week. The gym was a frosty temp, but I talked to one of the fellows at Bacon. He said they were on it. It related to the office sensors. The office I'm in right now, actually, which is the early childhood director's office, has been particularly cold. It was 57 the other morning this week, and that's happened on and off. So, but I'll trust Matt that they're still working on it. But your point's right in that the number of issues has dwindled, so that's good.
Thank you. Sounds like poltergeist.
Brad, I thought you were going to chime in and say the BMS system is BS, but it's
Sometimes it is.
That's past tense. So
Excellent. Okay, any other questions? That was a good question, Mr. Cormier. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, just for the record to say that Bob Hankinson and Earl Martin have joined the meeting. They were not here initially when we started, just for the record.
Excellent. They tried to get me to not start the meeting without you, Bob, and I said we have to move forward. Sorry. Didn't feel like a meeting without you, though.
I can deal with it. Thank you.
Can I just bring up one other thing, and I don't know if this is the forum, but the on the mural, it's a beautiful mural. Everyone loves it. The one challenge is we notice it's peeling at points on the bottom. I don't know if there's any remedy to that or how that, because the kids, it's obvious when the kids are waiting for their buses, they're sitting, some are starting to poke at it, peel it. And that's been one of our biggest kind of, conversations with Matt and Bacon is basically how to ensure that some of these great designs or even great items like our faucets are what I would call really elementary school grade, meaning they're going to take some abuse. And how do we ensure that they are not? And I almost asked you, Christian, when I saw you today, and I just forgot.
That's okay. This is down in the C wing, Earl, that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we took a long look at that today. We're certainly going to get in there and repair what's been damaged. And then we've got a couple different ideas that we talked about with Bacon, with the construction guys on how best to resolve that. So we need to talk with the vinyl manufacturer and float a couple ideas by them. And then we also, Superintendent Pellegrino also pointed out the sinks, and we've certainly been looking at that too. We've got some folks from Sloan coming next week to take a look at those. So all of that's in process. We certainly hope to address it as soon as possible. We're aware of it. Bacon's aware of it. Colliers is aware of it. It's just sometimes a bit of a trouble to get, folks out there as quickly as we'd like, but chasing down solutions as we speak.
And
awesome, thanks.
The what do you call it? Magnets? The fire door magnets. Those a couple of those are broken off too. Are we doing something about that? We being you.
Yeah, it seems that some of those have been damaged from use, and so we'll certainly have to take an inventory of that and try and get a repair while we've got contractors there. At this point, I don't think it's an issue with the system so much as just abuse that's happened since the school has opened, but certainly we can still try and address it while we've got folks on site.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, only because, in terms of, Mr. Martin's point, these are third and fourth graders, they're going to slam doors open, so we need to think about that, because a couple of those things have snapped off. So I don't know if there's a different design or something we can look at, but I'd rather do that now rather than down the road.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Christian, you're on for a report from architects.
Sure. So I'll share a screen here. Aviva and I were on site all day today with Joe and Sean from Bacon Construction, and it was very helpful to walk through the building. We're really focusing in on the punch list here and trying to get especially the building punch list as completed as possible. We understand that we're going to be doing kind of another push on the site work, especially over the summer when students are out of there and weather's a little bit better. But really trying to button up as many of these small building issues as possible. Like Matt said, there was a big push over the holiday break, which was helpful. Some of these items that are quite small that would typically, be in some subcontractor's court, Bacon at this point is just doing them themselves, which is great. But they're also, relying on their subcontractors for some items, and because they're, on to the next job, it's hard to get them back. But I understand that Bacon's pushing them, and we're certainly pushing Bacon to get these things done. So we have a few change orders to go with. I could go over some photos that I took today, but I think most folks have a pretty good idea of how things are looking. And there's been a few changes. Even I just got home right before this meeting started, so a few changes that I just put in here right at the moment. So going from the top, 324, can everyone see my screen okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, so this is a credit for the BDA system. It's a short for bi-directional antenna. And this is a system that is often necessary inside of these larger metal buildings so that the fire department and police department, fire department in particular, can use their radio systems and that they have a clear signal. In this case, we're quite lucky in that there's an antenna elsewhere in town that's got a direct shot right to the site. So we had this in the design, this BDA system. Some work was done on it for some initial testing, but they gave us a credit for basically not installing the majority of it. And our electrical engineers took a look at this and this looks reasonable. So a credit of about $33,000 for not installing that BDA system. 362 is a smoke beam detector at stair 3 requested by the building inspector for $821. Most of that was reprogramming. They were able to supply the smoke detector itself from attic stock. And so recommend approval on that one. Some window sills at the first floor of stair 2 need to be recocked, and this is I think a little bit of damage during occupancy. So similarly to how we hope to handle these magnetic hold opens at the doors, to have the contractor address this would be about $1,300.
It's actually been done. I had over Christmas, the guy was there and he mentioned, I said, just do it. You know, because he was there instead of coming back, and it took like an hour or so. But it was a mess. It just looked terrible.
411 is we have a few HVAC units that are coming down a little bit through the ceiling at the connectors. And so this is $1,803 to install trim pieces around those HVAC units that are dropped down. It will tie it up into the acoustic ceiling grid, painted the same color. And so once this trim work is done, those HVAC units will kind of disappear into those connector ceilings. So we recommend approval for that one. 412 is the A-wing glass rail up on the 3rd floor. The district was interested in replacing this with storefront at a 7-foot tall storefront system. Right now we are, I forget the exact height, we're higher than code minimum for sure, but we're still at a height where it just, you know, makes teachers a little bit nervous. And so we have a storefront system on the 2nd floor. And so this would kind of mimic that same idea up on the 3rd floor. We wanted to make sure that this included engineering calculations so that we won't get any sway in that storefront system. And that's been included in this approach. We did talk with Bacon today about a few details about some caulking that will likely be needed at the bottom. And so just today, just to be safe, Joe was asking for a not to exceed price of $54,000 for this ad, and this was again a recommendation from the district, and we also recommend approval for that one. 413 is for toilet accessories and attic stock. This is new toilet paper dispensers in pre-K, and then a big change was to have the contractor supply and install new soap dispensers throughout. So this is, you know, a couple hundred soap dispensers. And this came in at $58,941. Another one that came up today was the art room. There's some dual-sided display cases between the art rooms and the corridor. And it was felt that a little bit of privacy is requested by the art teachers. And so we thought a good approach would be to apply a decorative film that's the same decorative film that's on the glass balconies at the C wing. It's kind of these reeds that go up, and it's nice and quite opaque at the bottom and then becomes more translucent as you get higher. So to apply that to the 2 art rooms on the inside of the display case, Joe just got a quote today, and so was recommending approval at a not to exceed of $3,500. That's it for change orders. And then another large item that was at the bottom of the list that Dr. Hammond emailed out was this additional furniture and equipment. And this is a number of items that Stefura has been looking at and taking ample notes from requests from Earl and from Wayne and various staff. And so this is to try and get kind of additional furniture and equipment all behind us. We will bring these forward to you as the individual invoices, as we have been doing with furniture and equipment. But this is just to get a general approval to start placing those orders for $129,852.41. Any questions on any of those items above?
I might suggest that if you wanted to, the vote would be the 81,715.58. And then if you wanted to, you could add the 3,500 to that number, and then a separate vote for the additional furniture.
Kristen, Bob Schwartz, you talked about the new storefront, I guess on a second level. Teachers are concerned or something, I forget what you said. Can you clarify that?
Sure, yeah, I even have, why don't I pull up some pictures here? This is from the first floor looking up. And so you can see at the second floor here, this is a little bit confusing because we're looking straight up. But at the second floor here, you can see we have a storefront system, and that's a 7-foot tall window.
Yep.
And then on the top, we just have a railing. And again, that railing is fairly tall. Here's a picture of that. Here's the railing here. Human, that's Joe from Bacon for scale. So the thought was that, yes, this is safe, but it would feel a lot better if this glass went up a full 7 feet because it's such a height down to the first floor. So I think, the space will still feel nice and open. And we also think with a storefront system with that same framing that they have on the second floor, it will be quite a bit stiffer than this railing system was. Any other questions that I can address?
I came up with the 81,715.58, 3,500 is 85,215.58. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. I'd recommend it be 2 votes. One on for 85,215.58 for change order 25, and then the additional equipment would be a separate. That'd be a separate change order that we would do for 26. I don't know if you want to talk about the types of furniture. What are they looking for?
Yeah, it's really all over the board. It's everything from some mobile screen partitions that will go, that can be used in the hallway to kind of help give some areas, some breakout spaces, a little bit more privacy as a request from teachers, to some more kitchen equipment, smallwares, to a lot more filing cabinets that were requested throughout the school. Miscellaneous chairs. A lot of the furniture was delivered and first set up in each room that was supposed to receive it, and then kind of, if some room wasn't using their chairs or didn't need quite so many, then those got pulled into another room, and then the school realized, oh wait, no, we actually do need more chairs for that room after those chairs got pulled out. So really just trying to meet everyone's requests for what they need for additional furniture.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve the change order for $85,215.58?
So moved, Hankinson.
Thank you. Do I hear a-
Schwartz, second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion?
That would be change order 26, am I correct, Christian?
I think it's 25.
25, okay. Thank you.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, can we put about it to a roll call vote? Dr. Hammond?
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes.
Earl Martin,
Yes.
Kathy Gogan,
Yes.
Jennifer Plavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes,
Ron Cormier,
Yes,
Christina Thomas,
Yes.
Ashley Chickwin,
Yes.
Bob Hankinson,
Yes.
and Josh Cormier.
Yes.
Did I miss anybody? It's a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. And do we need to vote on the 129,000?
Yes, it's gonna be
Okay.
a change. Yep, we have to do change orders with this.
All right. So this would be change order number 26 then?
Josh, how do you, could I stop for a second? Josh, how do you want to handle that?
Or Tim or Matt, I think that would come out of our project budget, but not necessarily be a change order through.
Okay, then we
Vacant,
just,
so kind
then
of
we
a
just
different
approve,
process.
approve the expenditure as stated.
Okay.
Yeah, this would be ultimately contingency funds to that would need to, because we've already expended all of our FF&E funds. So it's basically a contingency transfer. There would be no reimbursement from the MSBA. This is again, you've already used all the money that was in that line item. The MSBA caps furniture. They're not saying that they're going to participate in all the furniture, but they do give some, which we've gone through long ago.
Josh, any comments on the process?
No, I'm good with the process. The consultant answered the questions I had. So everything's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve this for this amount of $129,852.41 for additional furniture and equipment?
Schwartz moves.
I'll second.
Thank you, thank you. Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I think from this point forward, if anybody wants anything at all, we have to have a justification of what it is, where's it going, and why do you need it? Because right now, I think they're just throwing requests out and we're going along with it. I don't want to deny a teacher of anything that would need an education, but I think it's gotten to the point now, you want it, you have to justify it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I do want to say we've added a number of teachers that were not in the original timeline. You know, each year since we started planning this, which was years ago, it's
Yep.
really, although they all seem to blend together, we added a number of teachers. You know, the other thing, you know, things as simple as, you know, Michelle Hefner, for example, who she was added. She's on the stage in the cafeteria. That's her space, and then she travels. But she has no desk. She had nothing. So when we were planning, I think we've added a number of people. And again, similar to the breakout spaces, now that we've moved in, we've realized that okay, to have these breakout spaces work, we need a little bit of privacy for the students and for the teachers. So I do hear what you're saying, that there needs to be some kind of justification. I do want to say that there were discussions, and I think the teachers have been thoughtful. And quite frankly, not just asking for the everything. So, anyways, I just wanted to mention that. So, any other questions, comments, concerns?
Mark, I feel like too, a lot of teachers don't know what they're supposed to have because I think there's been a lot of confusion.
You cut out there, Ashley. Does anybody else hear her?
No,
Yeah.
Cannot hear her.
Okay.
Ashley, we can't hear you.
I'm sure what she's saying is brilliant.
Did I cut out?
obviously.
Ashley, we couldn't hear what you said.
Of course not. What I was saying is I don't think all teachers know what they're supposed to have as well. So I think that there's still some confusion on what grade levels have what furniture or what tables, what bookcases. So I think that may need to be a discussion as well of this is what you should have in your room, because I think people may still be missing some things.
I'm sure we could get a list out to teachers. Christian, that can happen, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure we've supplied that already, but let me check my
Yeah.
records, and if I
No,
haven't, we'll get one out.
No, I'm pretty sure we did. This was early in the process. I shared it out. We had a kind of a Google form for if you did not have something that was in your room. That said, I think Ashley may be alluding to, there were some rooms that had things in there that all the teachers would have liked and thought would be great. And they were in that, let's say, for example, first grade room. And but it wasn't on the list. And so, then the request was made, oh, is every room getting this? And it was a while ago, so I don't remember all the details, but I know I worked with you, Christian and Matt, and then we narrowed, so it's two separate lists. It's what was supposed to be in your room that we didn't get, and then what do we realize that we still need that wasn't on the list. We're kind of the two lists that we had earlier on.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing no discussion, Dr. Hema, would you mind calling the roll?
Mark Cock,
Yes.
Dr. Pellegrino,
Yes.
Earl Martin,
Yes.
Kathy Gogan. Kathy's there?
Yes.
Yes. Jennifer Flavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Ron Cormier,
Yes,
Christina Thomas,
Yes.
Ashley Chickwin,
Yes.
Robert Hankinson,
Yes.
and Josh Cormier.
Yes.
It's a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent, thank you. The motion carries. Is that it, Christian?
That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, excellent. Moving on to old business, new business, or other business to come before the school committee, school building committee. Hearing none. Any public comment? Mr. Rockwood?
Yeah, I don't get to see the inside of the school. I get to see the outside of the school. So what I'm noticing at night is it's all lit up the top of the hill. So I'm not sure if that's going to be changing as we go forward or not. It doesn't really impact me, but it does impact my neighbors. So they've just mentioned that it's just lit up in their backyards. I sit 1,000 feet down the hill, where a couple of them are just a couple hundred feet from Sea Wing.
Mhm.
So that's just something I'd like to see if we can figure out as to what's going to be lit up and for how long. Now, I know that there have been contractors in day and night, so there may be some things that they're doing.
Mr. Rockwood,
Another thing I know,
are you talking about external lights or internal lights?
well, it appears that some of them are internal
Okay.
because it's more than just a point source. But again, I haven't ridden up there to see just what's on. I also noticed a couple of the lights along the access roads have been damaged.
We know that.
I noticed one on the, I think it was the Catherine Street side that was just hanging down.
Yeah. Those are going to get
But
addressed.
that's really about it.
All right, thank you.
In my trips on the weekend, I've noticed that the pre-K, K and grade 1 lights are off now when we go by, but as I go by further into the school complex, those lights are on. So I think pre-K and K and grade 1 are taken care of, but it's the rest of the building that are lit up, like the cafeteria with those monstrous lights. And the rest of the classrooms, and a couple of classrooms on grades 3. Yeah, grades 3 or 4 on the north side of the building. Those, some are off, some are on. So I have no idea what's going on, but I would like to see that electrical system issues resolved. I just, like I say, the last time we met, I approved the light bill for that building and I choked. I couldn't spend that much money in my house in 100 years. So it needs to be addressed soon. I would like to say.
Yeah. Any comment from Christian or Tim or Matt?
No, I think these are great.
The electrical issues you were talking about before.
Yeah, no, these are great points. I mean, I think with the electrical system, unfortunately, with the, this is something that we've run into on projects since 2015 with the new requirements for, quote unquote, energy efficient lights, which sounds great. They become much more complicated. So you're not just flipping a switch, they're daylight sensing, they're motion detecting, they're programmable from afar. And so, yeah, we always try and simplify these systems as much as possible, but unfortunately, there's only so much you can do. But this is really helpful feedback. I think, again, as Matt was saying, we're getting closer on the lighting programming. Talking to Bacon today, they did say that the programmers were in there last week. But having some of these specific examples of this light was on at this hour, and then so we'll handle it on that front. And then let me also talk to Wayne at the same time and figure out exactly what the schedule, what he wants the lighting schedule to be. And then we'll be able to get back to you.
Okay.
Also, Wayne mentioned in one of our facilities meetings, there was supposed to be a plan and a cost establishment of rotating all the street lights 90 degrees and readjusting the light lenses to the street.
Correct.
Where is that?
I think Bacon is still requesting that pricing from Griffin Electric.
Doesn't seem to me that it would take that long,
Right.
but
Everything takes that long.
well, it's a government project, that's why.
Actually, it takes 3 weeks to just get a schedule for my oil change. All right. Any other comments, concerns?
Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I need to talk to Wayman before we adjourn about the next meeting. First of all, let you know that we have been on March 31st, the authorization to have Zoom meetings like we are ends. There has not been put forward after that. I've had talks with some representative senators to see if they're going to do that right now. So we have to plan that after March 31st, we cannot do Zoom. So for February, March, we can. And if we have to start back with in person, where would we want to meet? At the school, or where would we want to meet? I think that needs to be some decision.
All right. So right now we don't have to make that decision. So I'm going to put that off till March.
Okay. So we have just so everybody knows, February will be Zoom on the 15th. That's the third week. And then March will be Zoom. Just to let you know, I will not be at the February 15th meeting. As in the past, I'll give Mark Hawk everything and he can do what I do.
Excellent. No one can do what you do, Dr. Hemmon.
I knew I was going to get jabbed on that one.
Anything else? If we're all set, I heard a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you. No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you.